Hello, YouTube. Hello, everyone. It has been a minute. I just wanted to stop in, and I'm only going to speak briefly because I'm a little bit busy, but I wanted to share with you um, a testimony. About 3 weeks ago, I was doing my breast exam, and I felt something in my left breast, a nodule, a bump, lump, whatever, in the same breast that I had the breast cancer in. And I called my surgeon that Tuesday morning, and she was in surgery, and she didn't have any more appointments for the rest of that week. So they scheduled me for the following week on a Friday. So I had to deal with the anticipation, the fear, the stress, the just being afraid until my appointment came up 2 weeks later almost. So I go and I see my surgeon. She does a self breast exam also, and she asked me where did I feel it at, and I told her, and she was like, well, it's almost time for your mammogram, so I'm just going to go ahead and schedule you, and you you know we'll go from there. She never said that she didn't feel anything or anything, so it was really I was really nervous waiting. Then I scheduled my mammogram, which was a week later, so that's another week of me overthinking things, me not trusting God, me just being fearful, period. So I finally had my mammogram, and they go ahead and do both breasts, and amazingly, when I went in for my mammogram, I could hear God saying, when are you going to trust me? You say you trust me. You say you believe me. You say you're standing on my word for your healing, and you're walking in your healing. So when are you going to show me that you trust me? So I'm getting ready to get out the car, and right there, I said, okay, God, I trust you. I believe you, and I am walking in my healing. I trust you to continue to keep me. So right here, right now, I'm going to give it over to you. I'm going to let go, and I'm going to just let you handle it. And I'm not going to take this issue back, God. I'm giving it to you. I'm trusting you to work it out in my favor. But whatever your answer is, God, I will accept that. But I'm going to need you to help me right now, God, because this is a lot. It's too much for me to carry. So I go in, and they did the test, and I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. I know what the result's going to be. And they called me back, and they said, you're good. Everything is good. There are no issues. We don't see anything. No changes. You're good. So with that being said, I'm coming on here to share this with you because there may be someone who is going through, that could be the exact same issue right now. There is somebody who is dealing with depression. There is somebody who may be going through issues with their child. There is someone who may be financially struggling. There may be somebody who's dealing with just their health, their weight, things like that. Whatever it may be. I'm just coming on here to tell you that God can and he will, but he needs us to trust him. He needs us to believe that he can handle it, because he can. He doesn't need us to intervene and help him out with anything. All he needs for us to do is to do the things that he's asked us to do, and to be faithful of him, to believe in him and trust in him. And not just talk about it. It's easy for me to come on here and say, yeah, I trust God and I believe God and I'm standing on his word. I'm walking in my healing and I know that I'm healed and I know God has got me and he's going to keep me, and I'm not fearful because God is not of fear. And then as soon as something happens, just like I did, we ball up in a knot and we cry and we think the worst and we start to imagine things, happening that are not going to be good. And instead of saying, devil, you are a lie. You are not going to put this fear in my heart. Whatever I felt, it wasn't nothing. It was fatty breast tissue, whatever you want to call it. God, I trust you. I believe you. I give it to you. And we're going to go get this looked at, because that's human. You would be, excuse my language, you would be absolutely stupid to not go get it checked. I'm not saying that you sit there and be like, God got me. I know I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong. And don't go get it checked because your faith is so, your faith is just on the highest point. No, you go get that checked. But all the while, you believe God. You believe God for it. You believe God. Even if it was something before they took that test, he turned it around in your favor. You believe God for it. Absolutely. But you can't keep saying that. I trust you, God. And then as soon as something bad happens, here comes all that doubt. In creeps all the fear. All the questions. Well, what if, and maybe, and probably, and it, oh Lord, and if it's this, I don't know what I'm going to do, God. And oh Lord, I thought this, and you thought. Either we trust God and we believe him, or we don't. Everything is not going to turn out the way we want it to. We're not going to always get the answer that we want. But know that just like God allowed things to happen to Job, he can allow things to happen to us. It could be a test of your faith. God allowed Satan to do the things to Job because he knew that Job would not waver in his faith, that Job wouldn't doubt him. They took Job's kids and his house, and the first thing that he did was begin to worship. He shaved off all of his hair and he began to worship. So sometimes when things happen, you gotta worship Jesus. You gotta worship your way through it. You gotta pray your way through it. You gotta dance your way through it. I swear, I have worshiped my way through so many issues, including breast cancer. I have praised my way through so many issues. And let me tell you something. Worship is powerful. Worship will get you to where God needs you to be and where he wants you to be. We have to be obedient of God, and sometimes things are happening in our life because God needs us to move. He needs us to do some things. He needs us to do the things that he's already told us that he wants us to do. Sometimes God has to get our attention. And believe me, when I thought I felt that lump in my breast, God got my attention. I'm still sitting back doing things that God has told me to stop doing. I'm still not doing some things that God has told me to do. God will get your attention. It's not going to always be in the worst ways. Sometimes he'll just give you a little thump upside your head. And then sometimes it could be more drastic. If there is something that you are going through today, if there is something that you are dealing with, if there is something that you need to let go of and give it to God and leave it in his hands, don't pick that thing back up. Let it go. Know that God is able. Know that God will. Once again, just because it turned out in my favor, it's by the grace of God. It's his grace and mercy. God didn't have to let it turn out that way. It did not have to work in my favor, but God, but God, but God. Stay prayerful. I know sometimes things get so heavy and the burden is just so great and it feel like your knees are going to just buckle and you just feel like throwing up your hands and giving up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just know that God is going to work it out in his own time. Everything is not worked out according to our timing, but it's always on time. God. Whew, Jesus. Let me tell you something. I went through my journey with breast cancer just like so many of you have. And when I say things work out, things work out according to God's timing, but it's always on time. Even though we had to go through that journey and we had to do the chemo and the radiation and lose our hair and be sick, lose your eyebrows and your eyelashes, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful today, right here, right now. I have friends, I have family members who didn't win that battle with cancer. So when I tell you my testimony is great. It's great. I am walking in my healing. And I'm believing God for the victory. I believe God for everything. So if you are going through something, whatever it is, don't give up. Know that God will bring you through it. It may not be immediately. It may take some time. It may require you to stand strong. It may require you to lean on God. But know that he will bring you through. And I'm going to go ahead and end this with what I always say. It could always be worse. And this too shall pass.